Sash, Dwayne Johnson is your favorite actor, right?
Definitely.
Fight!
So my issue with Dwayne Johnson is just he's not a good actor. That's it. That is it.
Later.
Possibility of Dwayne Johnson taking the role as the primary antagonist. Do it. Do it.
Wait.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh.
This dude ain't dead, man.
And he came back.
This dude ain't, and the way he came back, you're like, yeah. Who is this
guy?
person?
Yeah.
Who is he? When that failed to kill him. How crazy is that?
Sure.
Like, this dude
What?
did not want to die. If you think concentration camps were a German thing,
Yeah.
the poor Afrikaans people in South Africa were put in concentration camps
And
by
you
the
see them,
British.
Uncle? Worm. Oh, yeah, worm.
What is up?
How are you doing?
This is the movie show.
On Active FM.
I am Sash.
And I'm Ryan.
And we are
Doing a prequel.
we're completing the Kingsman, what's currently out.
Does prequel mean
Yes.
pre-sequel?
No, it means pre-first film. Because sequel is the film after the first film.
What is
Prequel is before, like this is what happened before the...
But it's the third film in the...
Yes, in the series. The Kingsman came out in 2021 and it is an action war film. Now I was very confused. I don't understand what Google is doing here. So if you search the cast of Kingsman, right? All of the original actors that were in the first two movies, so Colin Farrell, Taron Egerton, all of them, like what's the other guy's name that played Merlin? Mark Strong.
But I didn't see him.
All of them are in the cast list, but they're not in the film. Like I was still waiting, like for them maybe to come up in a post-credit scene or something like that. None of the original cast is in this movie. So truly is like the origin of Kingsman, like before everyone that is in the current movies was born.
Somebody lied.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's set during World War I. And one of the things I personally loved about this film was the historical accuracy. Like, if you look at history and what happened in the film, they stuck to history. So the Arch Ferdinand that got assassinated, that happened. Even the fact that King George changed his surname from the Sussex to Windsor. Not Sussex. He had another... Sussex is not the... He had a German surname.
Oh, right.
And you hear him in the film get advised to change his surname to Windsor, which had a less German, it wasn't a German surname. That happened. Even the whole Rasputin thing, like he was an actual person, Rasputin was
Really?
Rasputin was
Damn.
Rasputin was hectic. Let me actually tell you. So in this film they depict his death, where like they couldn't kill him. I don't know, like if you remember that scene, like that actually happened in real life. It's actually quite scary that actually happened. But he in real life. So Prince Felix Yusupov claimed that Grigory Rasputin consumed tea and cakes and then wine, all of which were poisoned with cyanide. When that failed to kill him, how does cyanide fail to... Anyway, when that failed to kill him...
Something in the chemistry, guys.
Yusupov shot him in the chest. Later, after impersonating Rasputin to make it look like he had returned home, now can't say the name.
That guy.
Yusupov checked on the body, only to be attacked by a very much alive Rasputin, who proceeded to chase him in the palace courtyard, where Vladimir Purishkachev shot him again, and then the body was dropped into the Malaya Nevka River. How crazy is that?
Sure.
Like, this dude did not want to die. That actually, while I was
you were
watching
reading
them,
from
like that's actually
from
what
something
happened.
that really happened,
yes,
right?
that actually. So that was history. And while I was watching it, when they drowned him, I was just like, this dude ain't dead, man.
And he came back.
This dude ain't, and the way he came back, you're like, yeah.
I also thought, I was like, I wouldn't leave him there. I would definitely not leave him. And then I was like, I told you.
No, but I love the historical accuracy behind this film. Like,
You know,
it was,
you know what actually makes that cool is because we're talking about how the Kingsmen came into establishment, right?
Yeah, and they've used like actual history.
So you kind of look at them and be like, the Kingsmen must be real.
Yeah, right? You're like, Yeah, no, I thought it was... I honestly preferred this film. I don't know how to... The first two were very good, right? I enjoyed the first two films. But this film, I think, is my favorite Kingsman film. And like, that's crazy because normally when you don't have any of the returning actors, when like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, it makes you a little bit like... I personally love this film. Like, this is currently my favorite film in the Kingsman franchise.
Also enjoyed it.
Yeah. And watching the three, so we obviously only did the Kingsman series because we did Argyle. And then Argyle, we realized, is actually part of the Kingsman cinematic universe. And watching the three Kingsman films has made me not like Argyle even more, personally. Like, I don't think Argyle stuck to the standard of the Kingsman.
What do you think people would actually say about Argyle in general? Like, I'm curious if everybody has that same...
I remember, like, I had mixed emotions about it. And it was because, like, okay, I haven't watched Kingsman. So maybe if I watch Kingsman, then, like, this film will make more sense. And I've watched Kingsman. And I just feel like Argyle was, like, a cheesy parody version. Like you know how a family comes together for Christmas. And then you have, like, all of the good-looking cousins, and then you have that one like short little nerd that happens to come that makes really bad like dad jokes and is allergic to everything. I feel like that's Argyle.
Yeah.
That personal preference.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Kingsman. So this film has a very good cast. I actually enjoyed the cast. You have the main character is Ralph Fiennes, very good actor. This guy, I think he's a very good actor. And then you have Gemma Arterton.
We liked him a lot from yes, what is his
Wonderful.
name? Yes, that whole the Wonderful what of
Was
of
he in the
Henry
Wonderful?
Sugar?
He was, right? Yes,
Yeah.
he was in those 4 short
Yes,
films.
yes.
He does a lot with Wes Anderson.
Wes
yeah.
Anderson. That's
Yes.
the so I mean for me the minute that I saw his face I was like Wes Anderson. Those films.
Yeah.
So
And then Harris Dickinson, so he played Conrad, which is the son. Also I enjoyed him. I know him from he does a lot of war movies actually. So he was in, wasn't he in 1917? Oh no, he was in See How They Run. He acted as the guy that was acting as the detective in the Mousetrap. He was him.
all right.
I'm sure he was in 1917.
Yeah, he doesn't have a face that really kind of sticks to my mind.
Okay, he apparently wasn't in 1917, but he looks like the people that were
That's
in
what I'm
1917.
saying. He looks quite.
And I also know him from Where the Crawdads Sing. I've watched that movie before, so I know him from there. And then Tom Hollander was so good. Oh, he played 3 different characters in this movie.
Guy.
Let me actually explain why they went for this. So he plays King George V, who's Queen Elizabeth's father, King George V. He plays Tsar Nicholas II, who was the Tsar, which is the king of I want to say Russia.
Yeah.
Of Russia at the time. Tsar Nicholas's daughter was Anastasia. Their family got shot, if you know anything about history. And then he also played Kaiser Wilhelm II, who is the reason that World War I happened. This dude was a stupid person. But anyway, he plays all 3. Now, I actually thought this was so clever. So, according to the film, are cousins and are descended from Queen Victoria. Now, although casting the same actor in these 3 roles may seem like a joke, it actually stays very close to historical truth. So in real life, George Wilhelm are first cousins. So the King of England and the Wilhelm, whatever, the what was his name? Kaiser. The Kaiser of Germany were actually family, which makes World War I even more dumb because it was a family fight that countries got involved in. But I suppose that's like every fight in history, especially when it comes to Europe, because like they all intermarried. So like the king of, anyway. So they were family, they were first cousins, and they were both grandchildren of Queen Victoria and Prince Albert. And the two shared a strong resemblance. Nicholas, who's the Tsar of Russia, and George were also first cousins, as both were grandchildren of King Christian IX of Denmark. And they similarly shared a strong resemblance. They could almost pass for twin brothers. Nicholas and Wilhelm were only third cousins, as both were descended from Emperor Paul the First of Russia. Nicholas wasn't descended from Victoria, and the two had never met until George's wedding, when Nicholas was 25 years old. Nicholas later married Victoria's granddaughter, Princess Alex, making her his grandmother-in-law. This film also marks the second time Hollander portrayed George V on screen. He previously played the role in the British miniseries The Lost Prince in 2003. But how well did he do?
Yeah.
He literally was British, Russian, and German, and he did all of the roles seamlessly. Like, he honestly did such a good job. I was just like, I respect this man.
Great.
He did a very, very
Splendid job.
very good job. Like, he got the Russian accent, the British accent, and the German accent, like, so good. Yeah, so, and what I thought was cool about this was him being all three, him playing all three roles kind of gave the film a comedic element, right? Because, like, you know it's the same actor.
Oh,
do you understand what I'm saying? But then at the same time, it's historically accurate. Like, that nobody... I thought that was very, very cool. And then this guy, Matthew Good.
All right, yeah.
So, okay, this is a spoiler alert. You don't see his face because he's actually the antagonist. You actually do see his face, but he's working undercover, but you don't realize he's the bad guy until at the end he reveals himself as the bad guy. But I thought that whole thing of them not showing his face until like the very end was so clever because it kept you like wondering, who is this
guy?
person?
Yeah.
Who is he? And you could just hear this like Scottish accent. And I thought he did a very, very good job. And his pants, his pants were very stylish. Those green checked pants. Knows which ones I'm talking about. I was like, these are a solid pair of trousers right here. Like, I thought that was... for me, I love this movie.
Yeah.
Like, everything, the fact that they kept his face hidden, the different accents, the costume design, the set design was incredible. Like, honestly, like when they went on the front line, they even came to South Africa. The film starts in South Africa with the Boer War, which was actually where concentration camps started. So if you think concentration camps were a German thing, they're actually a British thing. Because us poor Afrikaans people, I'm not Afrikaans, but the poor Afrikaans people in South Africa were put in concentration camps by the British. Yeah, you see them.
I recognize them. The minute you see the car, I'm like, Uncle? Uncle, worm. Oh, yeah, worm.
Wow. Yeah, so I thought the cast was very, very good. Obviously, it's directed by Matthew Vaughn. He returned as director. And... yeah, it was very good. Rasputin's dance fight scene.
Yeah.
Was very good.
He spins in it. Now, he would have done that for real, right?
Yeah, he would have done that for real.
Yes.
Although, no, I think they did have stunt doubles.
And that was like a Russian kind of dance, right?
It was a Russian dance, which was so
the
clever.
Spins.
Yes. The way they incorporated Russian, like what's it called? Like... traditional dancing.
Traditional, it was.
With the fight scene was so clever.
I wasn't sure if it was Russian or if it was like ballerina kind of...
Ryan, the ballet comes from Russia.
Have
you seen the Russians dance?
Well, there you go.
I think the Russians are the best ballet dancers in the world.
Aren't
like,
they usually
those
like
people
arms
are
up
insane.
and they're doing stuff with their...
Yeah. In fact, so when I did ballet growing up, and we did what was called, now I've got the name of the dance. So you did ballet, and then you did... another dance form. Character. It was called character, right? It's character dancing. And there, you had different shoes and you got the skirts. And I actually think, I'm pretty sure it's got Russian ties to it, because it was very like what you just described now with like your kicking legs and stuff like that. It fits in.
A lot of that stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, even like a lot of the ballets, like the Nutcracker is a Russian ballet. Like, yeah.
Oh, the Nutcracker. Wow.
So...
Sorry, I've just connected all of the stuff. That's cool.
It was very good. But Matthew Vaughn originally with that fight scene, right? He intended that the music that would play during that fight scene would be Boney M's version, the orchestral version of Boney M's Rasputin song. And because in previous Kingsman films, what he does is he keeps battle scenes with popular music, but he didn't feel like it. Right. He felt like it wasn't working out, and so instead he changed it to the Russian orchestral composer Pyotr Tchaikovsky.
That one.
Yes, I don't know his first and second name. He wrote a lot of the Nutcracker music, and he did it to his 1812 overture. Which I thought was. I respect him because you know how sometimes you're like, no, we need to keep it to this because this is what we did in the first two films, and he didn't do that because he was like, it's not serving the film, and I respect that he did that. Yeah, and then. The South African ties in this movie. So it starts in the Boer War, and then the antagonist, so the main bad dude, he's known as the Shepherd. He was partially based on Fritz Joubert. How do you pronounce that surname? Do it, Ryan. Do it for the Afrikaans people.
Okay. Is that Afrikaans?
He's a Boer soldier. Fritz
Joubert de Quincy.
Sounds good. He was a South African soldier who spied for the Boers during the Second Boer War and the Germans during World War I and World War II, and he became known as the man who killed Kitchener. Now, Kitchener was a character in this movie that died, but Kitchener actually also died, as in actually died in history.
Yeah.
And he was killed, also being sunk by a U-boat. Who was they sent that so what happened in the movie actually also happened, but so he was actually the bad guy in this movie was based on a South African.
So if all of this is based on real characters, right? That whole group you know the group of bad guys led by the bad guy whose face you don't see until then.
Who was like, it's not far off. I really do think that people so they portray this group that goes to like world leaders and like tells them to do certain things so that they can cause certain things to I think that happens.
One world order.
Like the people behind, like the Illuminati type of thing. This was like
because everything that was happening, you were like plausible.
Yeah.
Plausible.
And it's what happened in history. Like even the whole Mexico thing, trying to get Mexico into the war, that was a thing.
Like some
the
stuff
Germans
doesn't make
tried
sense. Some stuff why would the whole thing with the cousins, with the, who was it who pulled out? Which country? Because
Russia eventually. Yes. But Russia pulled out. Now, it's so clever. Russia pulled out of the war because what happened? So originally Germany was they had to fight a war on two fronts, and Russia was the Tsar, which is the royal family, was still intact in Russia. But then what happened was Lenin, who you see in the film, he comes and causes the rise of communism in Russia, and communism is the reason that the Tsar and his whole family got killed. That was the communistic government, led by Lenin, and then later Stalin, who took over, and then so that's why Russia pulled out of the war. But then America joined the war, and America joined World War I and II late.
You see? So I think this movie is trying to tell us something.
Mm-hmm. No, but it was very, very cool. And then the end scene brings in a young Adolf Hitler. So during the post-credit scene, so Hitler is revealed. Now, in the scene, you see Adolf Hitler, but instead of him having his small trademark mustache, he instead has a full handlebar mustache. And this was Hitler's look. It's historically accurate. This was his look around the time of the film setting, which was just after World War I, because World War I was one of Adolf Hitler. It was one of the reasons Adolf Hitler did what Adolf Hitler did. But his famous mustache only came about when his superiors in the Bavarian army ordered him to trim his mustache so that his gas mask would properly fit on his face. So that is why we know Adolf Hitler as the Adolf Hitler we know.
Aha. Wow. Folks, heard it here first on the movie show. Well, unless you knew about it. That's very cool.
Yeah, this is cool. Yeah.
Didn't some of the like battle scenes in that remind you of what was that one film we watched with the one shotter and they're traveling through the countryside?
1917.
It was 1917.
It was 1917, yeah.
Didn't some of the shots remind you of 1917? I was like, wait, that's that part where, and that's the part where, wait, is this that movie? Kind of thing.
But even the sets were incredible. So the when they were when they were in the trenches, I just looked at their set design. I was like, this is insane. The Russian palace was incredible. Like even where the shepherd stayed on that mountain, that like lone cliff. It was the set design.
Right.
In fact, this movie got 4 award nominees, and it won one of them, if that makes sense. But what it was awarded for was set design, costume design, music. The music in this movie, I loved the music in this movie. It really...
Who was the composer?
It was so good. Like, honestly, I was just watching this movie and I was like, this movie is so good. Like, this could go on my top films, like favorite film list.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it really could go on. Like, I watched a review where someone was complaining that this film like is a disservice to the Kingsman trilogy or the Kingsman cinematic universe. I disagree, like wholeheartedly.
I think it sets it up quite nicely.
Yeah, this one takes it.
Would you watch this one? Would you have preferred to watch this one and then the other two, or do you think in the order of the Secret Service, the Golden Circle, and then this one?
I liked watching it in the sequence that I watched it in. And one of the reasons is because while watching this, it keeps nodding back to the first 2 films, and then you're like, oh, that's where that came in. So that's why they do that. So even if you look at many of the actions, Orlando Oxford, who was played by Rolf Fiennes, has to do in the film implies the training exercises and tools for future Kingsmen in Kingsman the Secret Service.
Especially
so
the umbrella.
Yes. So
and the hook.
Yes.
And like the bomb comes and you're like,
and then
you're
even
like Kingsman.
And the shield, because the umbrella acts as a shield.
Yeah.
And then also Oxford had to parachute onto a small raised mountain. And that's why in the first film they had parachute target practice, which they had to pass. Also, Oxford sticks knives through the end of his shoe to climb up the wall, which the Kingsmen have in their shoes. And there was like a lot of like tiebacks to those. And even they mentioned statesmen. The American president ordered a statesman, which is the American version of the Kingsman. So.
Right.
I thought that was, But then just looking at, so Argyle obviously fits in with this. Argyle is my least favorite in the series. And this film is at the top. And then I'd say the Secret Service and Golden Circle are like in the middle. But in terms of the whole cinematic universe, like looking at it, Matthew Vaughn announced that there would be a 4th and a 5th film or 5th installments within the Kingsman cinematic universe. So the first one is Kingsman, the Blue Blood, and the second one is Kingsman, the Traitor King. So Kingsman, the Blue Blood is set to serve as the conclusion of Harry and Eggsy's narrative, featuring familiar characters and the exciting, this is not exciting, possibility of Dwayne Johnson taking the role as the primary antagonist. Don't do it. Don't do it.
If you do something different.
Do not do it. They're going to bring that jungle into the Kingsman series because they'll take...
If you do something different with Dwayne Johnson.
Okay, maybe. But don't do it.
It could work.
So he might come in. And then the script is currently still being worked on, but the first and third acts are complete. And this has the possibility of being released in either 2025 or 2026. So this is like the third film in the trilogy of Harry and Eggsy. So it will conclude their story. So that's the Kingsman Blue Blood. Then, following the success of the prequel, The King's Man, a continuation titled The Traitor King has been confirmed and is in active development. This sequel will explore Hitler's rise to power, drawing parallels to current events in hopes of emphasizing the importance of the story. The Traitor King isn't confirmed to be either a film or a television series, but Vaughn recently said during an interview with Collider that they're currently debating the format. So The Traitor King could possibly come out as a series or a film. I don't know which one I'd prefer.
Keep it a film.
I'm scared because I'm excited for this one. I honestly am excited more for the Traitor King than I am the Blue Blood, just because I enjoy. I'm just a history fan, so that could also be
Works
a bias
well.
there. So like I love that they the way that they brought history in with like creative. So, but that's what's in line, and then I'm sure they've got other Argyle stuff possibly.
Is it?
Well, I don't know. But currently what is in the Kingsman universe is the Secret Service, the Golden Circle, the Kingsman, and Argyle. And then they've got these two films coming up. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this.
But the Kingsman idea actually came from Matthew Vaughn, who's the director and then the creator of the film. I forgot his name now, but they watched Casino Royale, which is James Bond. I think it was the first. Was it the first? The first James Bond that had Daniel Craig. Was that his first one? Casino Royale. I can't remember, but I think what happened was
I don't know.
They made it sound like you were going to see like James Bond's origin story, so like his training and all of that, but then they didn't. And then Matthew Vaughn and the creator were like, we really wanted to see like James Bond in training, and that's what sparked the idea for the Kingsman series. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But I can
Great.
honestly say that the Kingsman fight scenes,
I love them.
I love them.
Yeah, I also
they
enjoy
are
them.
like the best fight scenes that you find in cinema. Honestly, they have so much character to them, and they're artistic, they're funny at the same time. Plus, they're very well choreographed.
Absolutely.
They honestly are like at the top when it comes to.
It's a Kingsman trait.
It really is so good.
Yeah.
Someone said that they felt that the fight scenes were flat in this one. I don't agree.
No.
I thought the fight scenes were very good. In fact, I thought that in this one, it was a little bit more realistic than the previous two films. I don't know how you felt.
I thought they were great.
I thought they were very
I
good.
didn't think anything different with it.
And this film also shocked me. Like, okay, can I spoiler alert?
No, we promised. We gave our word. The only time when we broke our promise was a film that was like, in fact, that's what we should do. If the film is older, then
we'll spoiler alert. Okay, all I'll say is this: someone got shot, and I was like, you know, when you don't expect them to shoot someone, like you're just like, they're not gonna kill him, and then they killed him.
I love
I was
those.
just like,
Those are the best.
but also the way
like
it
those.
was filmed was very
It's a
good.
shocker.
Like the way they filmed. It was very. This
It's a
film
shocker.
was very good. Like emotionally, it took you on a ride. It was nice. It was beautiful to look at. It was entertaining. It was historically accurate. Like, what more could you ask from the film industry, people?
Yeah.
No, it was very good.
Look, I don't know my history, so I guess I watch these and then I'm like, oh, okay.
No, it was very.
So if you're studying history, by the way, if you
watch
got a history
this
exam,
movie. It's very good.
especially around the World War, World War One,
it will actually help you. Like it will really help you.
it'll
because
put pictures to your to the words.
To what you're studying. Yeah. And also, okay, I don't remember like nudity. There was this video that of the American president that they were, but you didn't see like it wasn't explicit. And
Praise the
then
Lord.
language there was, but it wasn't as bad as the first two films.
No, they were.
It was like, that's what I appreciated as well, is sometimes they do period pieces, so like they'll go back in history, but then they all swearing, and it's just like, were they really swearing this much back in the early 1990s? Like, I feel like I wasn't alive at that time, so maybe they were, but I don't think they were personally. So
I think we all have a picture in our head of people being prim and proper,
distinguished,
and at some point in the 1990s, everyone just lost their
their
moral
they were just
compass.
like,
They were just like, I will swear. I swear, I'll swear.
I swear. Yeah. So if you have not watched, and I've actually spoken to a lot of people who've seen the Kingsman films and they haven't watched this one. Like I've been in conversations multiple times now where they're like, oh, there's a third one. Go watch the third one, people. It's good.
Great.
It's very good. In my opinion, it's my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's at the top of the whole Kingsman.
Yeah.
Best Matthew Vaughn film so far.
And we watched it on a Disney Plus subscription.
Yeah, I also did.
They
also
were
watched
all
it on
there,
Disney Plus.
so it was beautiful.
Yeah, it is on Disney Plus. Yeah.
Thanks to my wife who got a subscription.
There we go.
I was like, I'll just watch it on Disney Plus. Very nice. There you go.
So yeah. And next week,
I think Disney Plus owes me for that.
They do.
I think Disney Plus owes us like something. Throw
Yeah, that was an
something there.
unsponsored recommendation.
Yeah, this is not sponsored by Disney Plus.
Yeah, this is not sponsored.
But we are willing to take.
But next
something.
week, I'm so excited for what we are doing next week.
Yes.
We will be reviewing
Finally.
Dune 2.
Finally.
Yeah. So excited. Yeah, it's going to be good.
And can I just say no, I'm not going to. You guys will have to watch.
Next week.
Yes.
In next week's show. Coming next week. But anyway, this has been The Movie Show.
On YouTube.
On your device.
On Active FM. Yeah.
Until next week.
See you then.
Peace.
Bye.
The end.